Hey guys, how's it going? Trainwreck here again. So for today's video, we're going over what I end up doing. I shouldn't say what I ended up doing because there's still some work I want to do to this on my B&M SW. So I ended up picking this up a while ago, and this is the main power for my B&M rec train. Unfortunately, I have that all packed away right now, just like I did for my B&A engine. I wanted to go over what I did on this and how I went about it and things I would do different now that I've learned a couple more things. So once again, just like the last engine, this was done with the airbrush with one color. I didn't go for the brown like I did. I kind of learned my lesson. So just a light coat of light gray, and then everything else was done with a brush or a pencil. So the only modification I really did to this engine was once again using pictures. I put a cover on the stack. Now this is one thing I've been doing a lot of lately. Now because of my background with the railroad, there's things I'm learning about and now starting to realize, hey, I should model this because I know about it. So these SWs being EMDs, they're a two-stroke diesel. Two-stroke diesels don't like getting water in them, and that is most common with the exhaust stacks. The water will come down, get into the heads, and it causes issues. I have pictures, hopefully I still have them, of what ends up happening when you get water in a cylinder on a 38. So hopefully I'll add those in. Now I'm gonna end up going back and reworking this because I cut it, drilled the hole in it so that it works, but now as soon as you do it, you turn the smoke on, it just comes out at a 90 and it doesn't look real. I know a lot of people don't like running smoke units on their diesels, but I'd like to have the option to do that. So the next, I do plan on remaking this, and that way I want to go to another pipe, so I just drop it in and I can take it out when I need to fill it, because right now I just have this glued on and there's no real good way to fill that with smoke fluid. Another thing I still need to change is the bell mount. From the pictures I saw, it's not an accurate bell mount. It was very easy to add cab figures to this. I just got two modern, I believe, cab figures, or engineer I think is what it was labeled as. For the cab here, I'll spin around and show you the other side. And this one was great. The guy's out the window. Unfortunately, I didn't find any pictures, and I thought of it too late that, hey, there should be an armrest on the window. But then again, like I said, I did not get an accurate, the pictures I found, I didn't see any. I know it's a common thing nowadays on engines, because I know all our engines at the railroad I work for have them. So there is a project coming up that I do plan on adding those on to. Also, you can see your 3 gauges there. I did make a small control stand for this. I just painted it black and just did the 3 gauges. I didn't want to go too crazy. I didn't want to put, your red needle and your white needles on them for your main res and your equalizing, or your brake pipe and your brake cylinder, and then obviously your airflow meter. I could have added in an amp gauge, but I was not too sure what gauges. I could not find a detailed photo of an accurate cab for an SW. And here's the cab figure on the other side. The cab was a little tricky with where the body buildup was on this, so I kind of wish I got this guy a little bit further back, but he's in there. He's not hanging out the window, so he's not. This one gets hidden a lot more. Okay, some of the finer paint details I did. The anti-skid, at least that's how my railroad refers to it as, it's diamond plate. Just call it diamond plate. All I had to do was take I have special weathering pencils, just found a silver one, and just lightly went over everything, just back and forth. I don't care how, you'd have to constantly paint it. The metal, the paint's gonna wear, it's gonna show the exposed metal. So this is what I did on all the walkways on this. Also, I have roughly at hand height, I understand there is a handle. These doors, opening and closing them, suck. Things get moved, they don't want to close right. One's bent this way, one's bent that way. You're always putting your hands on them, and your hands always have oil on them because you're trying to fix everything. So, once again, something that I've noticed with working with the railroad, I added in where you'd have, I added in where the most common areas would be. And I even added in some spots leaking on the bottom. And then you see all these lines I put underneath the hinges. Well, that's, I used a one of my brown markers, and just to give it that rust look. Back to using the colored pencils, I just rubbed them. It's easier to see on the white. I did on the top of the railings as well, but I just lightly brushed on it with the pencil to give it that chipped paint look. My journal boxes, I end up using my favorite, GW Nola oil. Applied it on there to give it that wet, greasy look. I did that to all the journal covers. And this one I actually did do some research on to figure out where the batteries were on this thing. So, once again, my experience, battery boxes I'm not a fan of. I've had to rebuild a couple already, and the acid from filling them with just, we have nicer setups now where it goes to each cell and you just hook up a hose to it and it does it on its own. Some of our older engines, you got to pop each cell off, add water, things overflow, the acid gets everywhere and just slowly rusts everything out. So I once again used my brown weathering marker, did some swipes down, then wiped it real quick with a brush to get that runny look. And this is just a public service announcement for this one. Don't be like me and in a pinch and you didn't have any clear coat, so you went to your shop and grabbed one because you had a spray can one to clear coat everything, and I ruined my windows. So I'm currently waiting. I had to order a whole new cab from Lionel just to get the windows. I'm not happy about it at all because it was the only, this engine would have a whole different feel if you can actually see through the windows and see into the cab. So there you have it. That's everything I did to weather this engine. Now eventually I am going to go and change out the couplers, put Katie's on this, and fill in the whole entire gap so it's a normal plated front end. So now let's run this thing for a little bit, and thanks for watching, guys.